Alright, so let's take a look at the new app, WeLearnedIt. So I'm tapping on the app, and when it first loads, you're going to have the options to log in. And if you're an EduClipper user, you could log in with your existing EduClipper ID and password. If you don't have an EduClipper account, you can easily go over here to Create Account, and you'll get a choice of creating an account for a student, teacher, parent, school account, or district account. Tapping on any of these will allow you to enter a code. For example, if I tap on Teacher, it's going to say enter my access code. An access code is something you would get from your school or district that's purchased a WeLearnedIt license. Or you can easily create your own account by saying I don't have an access code. Entering the information here and you're all set. Since I already have an account, I'm going to go sign in over here. So now I've signed into my account, and you'll notice that the first view is the dashboard. The dashboard will supply an overview of what's going on in your class. And you can control what this view looks like. You can tap over where it says average grade and change it to assignments, feedback, and reports. That will change the graph on the bottom to indicate what's going on a daily, monthly, or yearly basis. You can easily go and tap on, let's say, assignments, and go to month, and you would see the assignments that were given out in a certain month. Tapping on any one of these would give you the actual names of the assignments, and if you tap on that, it'll take you to the assignment itself, as well as any of the students' responses. I'm going to go back over here and show you that you can turn on or off classes. For example, if I just want to see the first few classes, I can tap on those. Then the action items are just tapping on any of these and seeing the actual quote-unquote awesome project. And I can change that to being for day, month, year, etc., as you see in the graph. If you're not seeing reports, it's perhaps because you don't have the premium features turned on. The first thing you want to notice also is if I scroll down, I can see latest activity. This is kind of an activity feed that's down over here on the home page on the dashboard. And next to it is latest work. If there was new work and assignments that I had to provide feedback on, you would see those populate down below as kind of an action item list. On the upper right-hand corner, you'll notice your avatar. Clicking on it allows you to see your profile, which is how others would see you. It shows your content, the portfolios you've shared and created, as well as the connections you might have in the app. You'll also notice that I can go over to settings. That allows you to change personal information, connect with more educators on the platform, whether it be through social networks or through the app itself, and change the notifications that I've set up in my app. You'll notice over here that I also have this button that says Add School. If I tap on Add School, I can add a school code. And again, that's for if I'm working with multiple schools or if a school has purchased the school license of the WeLearnedIt app and you want to put in the code to unlock the premium features there. You'll notice over here the next tab is Classes. Clicking on Classes, you'll notice I have a list of the classes that I've gotten on my left-hand side that I can scroll through, or I can tap on one of them over here. I'm going to tap on My New Class. My New Class allows me to see the assignments, the students that are involved in the class, the settings for the class itself, and the permissions for the students in this class. And you'll notice above is a Share Student Codes. For example, you'll notice I have a student in the class. If I go to Share Student Codes, it's going to allow me to email or print a list of codes for that student to join the class. So over here I see the student code, and it will also give me a parent access code as well. Tapping on assignments over here, I can easily start creating assignments. Tap on Create Assignment. You'll notice I could load one from the library in the upper right-hand corner. That'll allow me to bring out a list of the other assignments that I've seen. Tapping on them will allow me to kind of edit automatically other things that have been created. Or I can create my own, simply by giving it a title. I'm going to call this one, rather uncreatively, New Assignment. I'm going to give it a date that's due, tomorrow. And I'm going to say, make something awesome. And of course, you can be as detailed in your description as you'd like. You'll get the ability to add content to your descriptions in just a moment. You'll notice on the bottom on the left it says allow feedback from peers, allow feedback from other teachers, and add to public assignment library. I'm going to not add this to the public assignment library because, to be honest, it's not the greatest assignment yet. But we also can see that you can provide access to showing peers feedback or teachers feedback right down there as well. And then the types of feedback that are allowed are on the right-hand side. So if I want them to be able to do audio and written feedback and video, I can simply leave all of those lit and turn them off if I want as well. Let's go to the next step. The next step is to add a rubric. I can choose to add a rubric or not. You can continue without a rubric, which is down here below. You can save, which uses our default rubric over here, which is a generic rubric that is based on the standards. Or you can go to load a different rubric, and then therefore you can go in and create your own from scratch, where if I go to create new rubric, you can see I can add rows and columns and make it as personalized as I want. Or I can go over here to go to save. That'll attach the current rubric. Now I can make assignment content. So over here, let's say that there are some interesting things I wanted them to see. So for example, iPod's abilities, 81 dash, a web whiteboard. Those are the 3 pieces of content that I want to give my students. In addition, I want to give them a website. So I can come over here to web, and I can go over and let's say I want to have them look at a site that's really good, let's say edutopia.org. And I want them to focus on a particular part of this site. So what I'm going to do is go over and grab my clipping tool and go over here. And I want them to read this article about empathy and go to save. And now that article gets saved over here. So I'm going to go to empathy and write great article from Edutopia and go to submit. Now you'll notice that piece of content gets added to my assignment as well. I can add content from other places. For example, from my camera roll. I can do something on the whiteboard for my students. For example, if I wanted to do something with math, I can easily go over here and say 4 into 400 and draw a question mark. I can do a diagram of an animal. I can do anything I wanted over here as a way to either give them a heads up on something that they can do on the assignment or just as a piece of content that's helpful to them. I'm going to add this just for fun. I'm going to say math equation. And over here, you'll notice there's also tags for Dropbox and Drive. You can connect to your Dropbox and Drive account and start attaching things that you've created in those places as well. Let's go to save. You'll notice the new assignment is there. If I click on view, it'll take me to make something awesome and show me that these are the things that have been submitted with it. You'll notice there is no feedback on that yet because, of course, students have not done the assignment. Each one of these students, in this case the one student, has received notification via email and in the app that they are going to have to complete an assignment. They'll get to log in, create something in return, and you'll be notified of it on your end. Again, over here, settings, you can change the class settings, change the picture, change the school that it's associated with, and you can also go over to permissions and change permissions for the users. That's a really brief overview of what's going on in classes. You'll notice the next tab is portfolios. Portfolios allows you to build portfolios of the work that you're most proud of. For example, if I tap on one of the portfolios that have been created already, this is an awesome science portfolio, and I can tap on any one of these pieces of content to see it full screen. Also tap on the eye, which allows you to kind of swipe through and see it as a portfolio. It just focuses on the content itself. You will have the ability to comment on these items, to share links to these items, and we're working on some really exciting improvements for the portfolio flow. That's looking at portfolios, but let's see how to create one. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to call this New Portfolio. And I'm going to say, awesome stuff. You don't have to have a description, but you certainly can. The next step is to choose a template, so I'm going to choose this one and choose a theme. Go to Next. Again, you get the same flow to add contents. You could easily create the contents from the top or add contents on the bottom. So I'm just going to take the first few things that I have over here and going to add them into my portfolio. There it is. I can drag them around. I can work on editing them. I can change the flow. I can change the look. I can make them all boxes if I want. When I go to finish, you'll notice the portfolio gets saved, and I can scroll through it. Again, tapping on the eye allows me to go through and view this portfolio in the way that I want to. It's a really exciting tool, and we're really excited to be announcing some new features in just the next few weeks. I'm going to go over to Reports. I'm going to click on Add a Report, choose 2013 to 2014, click on Add Students, and you'll notice over here a list of all of my students comes up. If I want to do a report for all the students in my English 9th grade class, I can just tap on the name of the class and all the students' names get selected. Or tap it again, they get deselected. If I wanted to do a report just for Joe student, and this student over here, I can go to Add, and now you'll see their names over here, and I click Generate, and it creates those reports. This is a report for the first student. You'll notice this is the assignment that he's done. I can take a look at all of the content that's been created. I can also view the assignment itself that had been based on it, and I can view their submission. So our reports are very dynamic in the sense that you could not only see just the actual grades, you'll be able to see the assignments themselves that have been created. Now in the reports list, you'll notice there are reports subfolders for each class, and I can click on them and see how that worked out for each of those students. And these can be sent via email with the share button right over here in the upper right-hand corner. It can be sent via mail, message, or even printed out to be given to the student as a dynamic report card. The parents will automatically be notified that their student has a new report, and they'll be able to check it out on the app as well. If you have a license to WeLearnedIt, you'll have access to the Libraries tab as well. The Libraries tab allows you to view all of the public assignments that have been going on the site that other people have created and shared. It also allows you to create assignments, both ones that are public and private. I can go through this flow again, or I'm going to quit out and show you that there's also the rubric library. The rubric library is a place where you can go and create your own rubrics and again see other rubrics that have been shared by other teachers. You'll notice that there's the default rubric here. Tapping on it lets you kind of go through and see each of the items a little bit larger. And of course you can go to create a rubric and build your own right here in the app, but just by tapping on any of these forms and start typing over here. You'll notice that there's a tag on the upper right over here that says public. You can choose to make your rubric public or private. If you make it public, other teachers can share and access it within this library if they have the EduClipper Premium plan. There's two more tabs to look at. Real fast, it's the Explore tab. Explore is very, very similar to the functions that we've come to know and love in the EduClipper app. This is a place to find and share content. So if I tap on something, like a clip I created before, I'll be able to do things like it or comment on it just by interacting with the items on the top. I can also go to the Create tab. Now this is where I would create content for the social stream or to share with my students. I can very easily come over here, go to the whiteboard, draw something, and then when it shows up in Explore, I can take this and share it both on social networks via email or even embed it, or I can go to Share within WeLearnedIt with a specific student. So Joe's student, I need to share it with him. I click Share, and they get a message both in-app and via email that this content is specifically picked out for them. If you need help at any point, there's a Help button on the bottom left. You can tap on it, and it'll allow you to kind of go through and see each of the features of the app, and you can kind of go through and get your own little tutorial on what to do. There's a neat little feature as well with the search. I could type in something like science in search, and it brings up my classes, the users that have science in their description, content that has to do with science, as well as other things that are searchable with that tag. It's a great first offering. We're really excited to see what you think, and we have a lot more things planned in the future to make project-based learning very, very easy to do. It's as simple as creating a class, adding an assignment, and then starting to allow your students to create awesome content and share it. We hope you love it. That's WeLearnedIt. Quick look for teachers.